Okay, VTOL, subsonic, AIM-9Ls, 11.0. I don't really know what to make of this. This is the Harrier GR.7. It's in rank 7 and it's battle rating 11.0. This plane is quite a strange addition in my opinion, and I don't really know if it has a place in ARB. Well, I mean, I guess it has a place. I mean, it's working in 11.0, I've been playing it, and I'm doing okay in it. Better than I thought, at least, that's for sure. And like I just said, I don't really know what to make of it. Being subsonic and having not so great energy retention and not so great turn at low speed, it's really not very good. However, I have a couple of times used that thrust vectoring to pull in some cool maneuvers and get some cool kills, but of course that's very situational, and that I found very fun, but that of course isn't happening every game. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here. Let's talk about the armament this thing gets. Now, this being a strike aircraft, the ground pounding armament is intense, and you have a whole lot of different things to choose from. So I imagine in ground RB, this is an incredibly good plane. However, I don't play ground RB, so I can't really offer any insight there. But using this thing as a fighter in air RB, you can take 4 AIM-9Ls and 2 25mm Aiden cannons. And yes, they're 25s, not the normal 30mm Aidens that a lot of other planes get. I don't really know exactly the differences. I think these have a higher velocity. I don't really know. I haven't really got that many gun kills with it. I've mainly been getting kills with the AIM-9Ls. Now, the AIM-9L is a pretty good missile, especially since this recent missile buff that gave every single missile in the game much, well, better capabilities. However, I have noticed something weird with the AIM-9L that I haven't really experienced with any other of the all-aspect missiles in game. Sometimes if you fire a missile with a frontal lock on somebody, they tend to behave a little strange. It seems like no matter how far you launch your missile from your target from a frontal aspect, it seems like a lot of the time the missile will kind of just fly straight towards them and then sort of just lose track right when it's real close and fly right past them. Several times now I would fire a missile, think like, oh, that's an easy kill, and then it just looks like it's about to hit him and then doesn't and keeps going. It's not a huge issue or anything, I've just started firing from more rear and side aspect shots. Doesn't really feel like it's as reliable as something like an R60M, even though on paper the AIM-9L is the better missile. I hope I'm right about that. Someone correct me if I'm wrong there, please. Now, all of that said, this thing still has some pretty good range, it tracks fairly well, and most of the time it will do its job. Obviously, I would rather have PL5s or Magic 2s, but, you know, this is an American plane, so we don't get those. Alright, let's talk about the flight performance. As I mentioned earlier, this thing is subsonic, while most of the competition can do over Mach 2. But this didn't really prove to be as much as a disadvantage as I was expecting. Like, yeah, obviously it's much better to be supersonic. You're not going to be getting away from anybody in this thing. However, if you just stay as fast as you possibly can, which honestly is kind of difficult considering this thing's energy retention, you'll be okay for the most part. Oh yeah, I forgot to bring this up while I was talking about the armament this thing gets. You have an absolute shitload of countermeasures. You get what, like 700? Obviously it's fantastic to have a whole lot of countermeasures, but I found them especially useful when you're in that center turmoil of every top tier game. For the first time ever, I've used the function where you can just toggle on your flares and they kind of just fire off however often you set it to. Like, I have mine to set off 4 countermeasures every second. And even though I am firing off 4 countermeasures every single second, I still have plenty left after the fight is all said and done. I honestly do think I perform better with this function because I feel like that's just one less thing I have to pay attention to, allowing me to focus a bit more on exactly what I'm doing. Alright, back to flight performance. So as far as maneuverability goes, it turns pretty well, especially at higher speeds. You can pull 14 Gs no problem, but when you do that, you do kind of dump all of your speed in 1 or 2 turns. Now, of course, there are plenty of other planes at top tier that dump all of their speed in 1 or 2 turns, but the thing is with the Harrier GR.7, it doesn't really feel like you pull the same angle of attack you would with all of the Delta Wings at top tier. Honestly, as far as dogfighting capability goes, I don't really think you have much going for you in this thing. This is definitely one of those planes where it's like, okay, find people who aren't looking at you and shoot a missile at them. That's how you get your kills. Alright, so how about some gameplay? There's 1 kill. Very nice. A full front aspect AIM-9L kill. Very nice. Sometimes they don't quite perform the way I want them to. I have the countermeasure set kind of weird right now. I didn't mean to do that. Oh boy. Don't launch, don't launch, don't launch. Oh, it's not tracking. Cool. Lol, get chaffed? Get notched? Any notchers? Ah! Almost cool, almost cool. Ooh, it was a crit. Nice. And there's the kill. Oh, I'm gonna crash. Ooh. Does he flare that? No, I think he dies to that, doesn't he? Yep. Oh, F4F. Hello. Do you die to that? Yes. Very nice. 4 missiles, 4 kills. That's pretty good. See, look, I literally had the countermeasures going that entire time, and I still have about 430, 428 left. So the Harrier GR.7. The airplane itself isn't all that much to write home about, but the 4 AIM-9Ls make this thing relatively... I'm not going to say competitive, but you can definitely rack up some kills in this thing. However, if you actually get in a situation where you need to use your flight performance, you're probably not gonna do too hot most of the time. I mean, you are at 11.0 after all, in the age of F-14 and Mirage 2000s and J-7Es and a lot of other planes. Also, I brought up earlier that the AIM-9Ls sometimes are a little finicky for me, but since I started actually being a little more careful with the launches, I don't really feel like I have that many problems anymore. After all, I have played the plane a bit more since I made the intro of this video. In fact, I'm recording this 2 days after I made the overview part of this video. It also could be that I was using the Magic 2s a lot on the Mirage 2000, so I could have been expecting that reliability, but it's not as reliable as a Magic 2. But they are still very, very good. But even after playing this plane a bit more, I still don't really know how to categorize it in my head. It's not something I feel like I'm going to go out of my way to play just for fun, but at the same time, I did kind of enjoy playing it. Having all those countermeasures definitely help out a lot with this thing, and definitely made the experience a little bit better. Being able to actually utilize the periodic flare button and then just kind of turn it on and then forget about it was really, really nice. I haven't played a plane that has an excessive amount of flares except for this one. Oh yeah, I did want to briefly touch on the VTOL capabilities. So only like twice I've actually used the thrust vectoring in this thing to really get the upper hand in a fight, because otherwise you end up just kind of a sitting duck and you'll get missiled from somewhere else. It's just not that common you end up in a situation where you can safely hit those thrust vectors and lose all your speed. And that's mainly because in top tier, fights tend to be pretty one-sided. It's not that often it ends up like 1v1, 2v2, or even like 2v3. Usually one team has most of their players alive and then the other team gets kind of eradicated. Oh yeah, I'll edit this in before the gameplay clip, but the live commentary for this was actually taken straight from my live stream, and there is a reason for that. Originally I wanted to do my traditional like post-commentary style, but lately I've honestly found doing post-commentary for top tier tends to be a little bit difficult for me, and I don't really know why. I think it might be the fact that top tier is a bit more point and clicky than it is with lower tiers. I feel like I can break down a lower tier or prop tier or early jets. I can break those down a little bit easier and explain what's going on, but here I'm kind of just like having a lot of trouble with coming up what to say. I kind of felt there was too much empty space in the video, so I ended up scrapping that edit and ended up just using this for the stream, so I hope it doesn't seem lazy. I apologize if it is. But hey, I think a lot of people find this more entertaining anyway, so... Alright, that's gonna be it for me today. What do you guys think about the Harrier GR.7? I have very mixed feelings about it and honestly don't really know how to feel about it. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.